I just had to ask myself, is my hair done? Did I brush my hair? Have I got makeup on? Am I ready to film, Brian? The answer is yes. Good. I'm alive. Here we are, guys. My brain is slowly starting to return to the correct position because I've eaten some food. It's wonderful. Wrap up from Worlds. You guys have obviously seen that video. So I came fourth. Sigh. Calculated risks are calculated risks. And I took one of those for this particular competition and it didn't pay off. And you know, that's life. I learned so much from this prep. It was the easiest, like 8 weeks of dieting, and it was pretty aggressive. Like I just went straight from, here's my calories up around 2,000 to have 1,000 calories a day, Holly. Hit that calorie floor, why don't you? And I did it for 8 weeks. And honestly, when I thought about what I had to achieve, you know what I've been saying, I was terrified, to be honest, because it's aggressive. But you know what I'm so thankful for? For all the years that I experiment in the kitchen, I'm so grateful for like the 15 years that I tried to do that, because it's given me so many skills and I have learned what I love. I've learned what I like to eat. And it probably will change over time, but for the most part, I think now I've stopped trying to fit myself into a mold of a diet category, and I don't fit all those molds. Like I'm not an intermittent faster. Don't make me fast, please no. I'm a hungry human. I like food. You know, I didn't enjoy ketogenic diet. I did that for about 3 or 4 months and I got through it. It was tough for many reasons, but I am not a keto girl. Like I like my sweets and I like sugar. So, you know, I've tried all these different things and I've come back to this place where I'm just like, yeah, I know what I like and I'm down for it. So the beauty of this prep was, even though I ate very repetitively just to fit those numbers, because oh my God, like trying to spread out 1,100 calories does not go very far. So for me to stay satiated, I had 2 meals and I ate them pretty much every day for that 8-week period. And I really enjoyed them. Like I'd sit down and I'd have like a nice big, it was like a pasta dish, and I'd have a red wine, you know, and I didn't miss anything. And so many people kept coming up to me and asking like, what are you gonna eat when you're done? You know, this has obviously been really hard eating that little, you know, calorie intake. And part of me is like, no, hold up, honey. I chose to do this. You shouldn't be feeling sorry for me because I chose to do this. This is a decision I made. But there's honestly nothing that I'm looking forward to. Like, it's just, that was part of the process. It's like preparing and training for, I don't know, the NBA or going off to the Olympics. It's like, you know, I still love it. I still love what I do. I'm still so passionate about nutrition and exercise science. So nothing really changes. I'm just looking forward to being able to go back to eating and drinking the bottle of wine rather than just the glass of wine, you know? I'm really proud of that prep. I had such a great time. It was really eye-opening to kind of go through that experience and just be like, okay, now I'm done. Okay, I know what I need to do differently next time, and that is I'm not leaving a damn skerrick of fat on this body for my next competition. I will be coming in chiseled and I will do as the organisation have asked of me. So I'm excited for next year. I'm not gonna do any other competitions between now and then. Like I need that time off. I also really love our business and I love having a personal life. So it'll be a good time, probably a 9-month window for me to focus back on those things and kind of connect back with the business. Anyway, it is now several days after the competition. I'm losing track of the days. I'm a little bit delirious. I was up until about 1 o'clock last night doing check-ins because one of my photo shoots got postponed. We thought it was gonna rain. And if it rains in Vegas and you're in like Red Rock Canyon or something, you're in a lot of trouble. You might not be going home because it floods. So we actually postponed it tentatively because we could just see this dark, massive storm rolling in the hills. I'm like, yo, I'm not doing that today. I don't want to be stuck on a mountain and I've got to compete tomorrow. So it was like on the night before the show. So it meant that I had to extend another night stay in Vegas, change flights. And the hotel that we were staying in Paris didn't have another hotel room available for the next night. So I had to pack up all my stuff, like my beautiful kitchen that I had like laid out, and then move it across to Bally's on my own. So I've got wings on my back. I've got like 5 bags and different costumes and 3. I'm like literally pushing my 3rd suitcase with my knee. It was just ridiculous. And then like the bellman, I kind of called up to like get some help because Lane had to go back for the kids. And I get there and he's like, oh, so where does it need to go, ma'am? And I'm like, well, I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I've got to get it to that spot. And he's just like, oh, I can't do that for you. I'm like, it's just there. Like, you just have to push it over that little bridge bit. Like, please, I would like to tip you if you can help me. I just don't think I can do it alone. Oh, it was just a funny morning. I had a lot of anxiety. Lane was like, what can I do for you? How do I help your anxiety right now? And I was like, I don't know, I think I've got it. I'll work it out. So there was a lot of, how am I gonna do this? It's just a lot of stress. So it meant that I was traveling home on Tuesday, which is a client check-in day. For me, like I don't like to rush through coaching check-ins. I love coaching, and don't mind if I do say, but I'm very good at coaching and I like to take my time. So I think it's like a 6 to 8 hour range of time, because sometimes you'll have clients that are, you need to spend a lot of time nurturing that relationship and, giving them some positive encouragement or whatever it is. I was anticipating on doing some of that on the plane, because both the flights were, I don't know, an hour and a half, one was 2, something like that. But I had a layover in Austin from Vegas to Tampa, and none of the flights had Wi-Fi. Thank you. All the business people on the plane were like, ew. So I just sat there and looked at my phone. No, I had a book. So I did some reading, took some notes, wrote some captions actually for some posts. I had to cram some coaching in at 10:30 at night on Tuesday when I got back home. At this point I was delusional. This is a really long check-in, a very personal one, so I'm gonna tell you something else funny. So I was taking a medication and have been taking this for about 12 months now. And I think I ran out on Saturday, the day of the competition. So I was like, oh, well, there's not really much I can do about it. And I couldn't get into my doctor. I didn't have a chance to get in touch with her to repeat the script. So I was like, oh, it's only 2 days. I'll be home on Monday. It's fine. I'll get it the next day. Sunday rolls around and I'm already starting to feel kind of a little bit weird. And at this point, I had not connected those dots. No, not at all. I was like, do I go to the ER? I'm like, I'm not feeling so good. Maybe it's just I'm competing. I've got diet brain. I'm feeling very deficient in something. I was getting these shock waves of pain and tingles in my peripherals, and it would kind of come in waves, and it wasn't that bad on Sunday. But as the days went on, I called Lane and I was like, just letting you know, I'm calling you at midnight from my hotel, but just in case, I might take myself to the hospital because I'm not feeling normal. And the next morning, 10 times worse again. So I actually called one of our friends, her husband's an ER doc, and explained my symptoms. And he was like, is there anything else that you need to tell me about? And I was like, the only other thing I can think of is this medication that I haven't had it. And he was like, okay, well, I was gonna say XYZ, maybe go to the ER, but then he sends me an article, a journal article on the name of this medication and the withdrawal symptoms, extreme withdrawal symptoms. So I'm reading the case studies and this particular medication, and I'm like, oh my God, it's describing me, all these things that were happening. So, kid you not, on that flight home, I still haven't had my medication yet. It's I don't know, 5 in the afternoon. I am bawling my eyes out uncontrollably on the plane, like one of those people that's just it was so bad, and I couldn't stop crying. And I had just finally had a moment to check social media, and I was reading through everybody's comments after the show post. I have never been so emotional in my entire life. I'm laughing at myself on the plane at this point as I'm crying because I couldn't stop crying. As I'm reading these comments, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just so happy. It was happy tears at that point, but I was just exhausted. And I got my period the day after as well. So I'm like, wow, this is just double whammy. It's medication stops, withdrawal symptoms, and you're gonna have your period. Winning! I'm tired, but I need to do my reverse diet because I have not had the bandwidth to even think about what my macro targets are. I've been trying to put foods in as I've been eating and doing other things, but I don't know how accurate my tracking has been the last few days. So I guess that's a really good place to actually start talking about serious things, and I will gather my thoughts. Reverse dieting, guys. Reverse dieting. So I think a lot of people really get totally immersed and invest themselves in the process of the fat loss phase, and you don't have to be a competitor to do this. Even somebody that's dieting, they've got a honeymoon coming up, or they've got an event that they want to feel and look their best for. So they diet, and all the attention and effort goes to that, front-loading process of dieting itself, but no one gives any thought to the after and what happens. I won't use this video to talk about all the symptoms and things that can happen, because there are a lot, and I have other videos on YouTube if you want to go and check those out about reverse dieting and competitions and fat loss. But we do need to start thinking about, how do you handle post-show? And there are a lot of different options, and it really depends on the person. I think I can talk to this from both ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum is once you've competed and you're extremely lean, you'd like to be able to maintain that. And then, of course, we know that that's not really realistic. Unless you plan to do multiple shows back to back, you might have a small period of time off in between. But for most of us, you take big chunks and then you have a little breather, and then you go again and have a breather. You're not going to be able to maintain all of that fat loss. So how would we approach a reverse diet? Well, it really depends what you as an individual are comfortable with regaining. I've given up on this idea that I'm only going to put on 2 kilos after my show. Let's be real, I've already done that in 3 days. So, and part of that reason is I'm also not training. I haven't trained in 10 days. I'm gonna go crazy. I've come to the realization that I'm not going to be able to maintain all of that body fat loss. So let's look at a middle ground approach. So I think the first thing that I do is I decide mentally up here, what do you think you could actually maintain now that you've finished this competition? I was for 8 weeks sitting at 1,300 and then 1,200 and then 1,100, and then I might have had a couple of days even lower because I calorie cycled. So, I was on some pretty low targets. But I think if I was to go back to, say 1,400 calories, to me, from what I was doing, that would probably be a reasonable place to start. So I'm gonna go and use Carbon today, and I'm going to do a check-in and change my goal so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, because I haven't checked in with Carbon yet. I weighed myself today for the first time in a few weeks because I have been in Vegas and I didn't take my scale, and honestly, you don't really need a scale on that peak week or show week because we're not really so concerned with what the number is. It's more about, okay, now it's time to fill out, it's time to look really good. We don't really need those metrics to be included. So I'm going in knowing that I don't have a lot of data to give the coach, but I do have today, and I can probably make some guesstimates based on how I was looking and what my calories were. And I'm also going in with some loose tracking. In fact, I just sat down a few moments before, I'll have you know, and I was talking to Brian. I'm like, what did we do on Sunday? What did I eat? And I'm like, ski shot at the pool party and a burger. Put in a quick ad, and then the next day I'm like, what did I have on my photo shoot day? Oh, I only ate twice. I had a glass of wine and a burger at dinner at 11 o'clock, and then the rest of the day was shooting, and I think I got a breakfast in. I'm like, yeah, that was just eggs and a muffin. And I just put some rough estimates in. So I don't know how accurate they are. I've definitely eaten a lot of cookies since I've gotten home. Thanks, Lane. He always has the best cookies in the cupboard, just when I need them. So let's just do this. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Okay, screen recording is happening. Okay, we'll go to the coach settings. Oh, I pressed it too many times. Okay, goal. Are you sure you want to change your goal? This will adjust the coach's recommendations and start you on a new macro plan. Yes, please. It's time to reverse. So what is my goal? I'm going to go down to the reverse diet button. Do you want to use the metrics provided for you today? It says my weight, 64.2 kilos, which is what I got on the scale at this morning, and a body fat percentage of 14%. I would not like to use that number just because I know that I was 62. Actually, no, I was like 60 a few days ago. And because I have had so many more carbohydrates than I normally do, and I haven't been exercising, this is like the peak of my weight. Today or tomorrow when I start my training again and I get back on track and actually hitting numbers, I know that my weight's probably gonna go back down because I'm just a little watermelon right now. It's funny, I've been walking around, going up down the stairs, and I can feel my legs chaffing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that feels good. So anyway, yes, I'm gonna use that. I'm giving you the best feels today, guys. How would you like us to calculate your new targets? Using estimated maintenance will give you more accurate macro targets if you have been checking in consistently. If you're coming off a long break, estimated maintenance may not be as accurate anymore, and calculating new is recommended. So it's saying here that based on my previous weeks of data, and I had been checking in with a coach and I had been compliant because I was competing, it's saying that my maintenance calories are estimated at about 1640. Do I want to use that? I'd probably like to start more conservative, so I might try calculate as new. My feelings are I probably can eat that many calories, but it's just always a little bit scary when lots of things are changing. You've got lots of moving parts. I know I will not be doing the amount of activity that I was doing. I just can't. I already got back and checked my calendar for work and my schedule is like boom already. So, you know, I'm not going to be able to do the same amount of activity commitment. So I think I do need to be a bit more conservative. Do you know how many calories it takes to maintain your current weight? Well, I'm gonna go yes, because I think I have a pretty good idea. So I think based on what I know I'm going to be doing, which will be 4 days of resistance training and probably 1 to 2 HIIT cardio sessions, and I'm just gonna do my 20-minute Peloton rides because that's all I've got time for. I don't wanna have to drive to the gym at this point. And I'm gonna try to keep doing my 10,000 steps per day, but the last few days have been like 3,000 steps, 4,000 steps, just because I was glued to my computer and I was glued to a plane chair on Tuesday. Okay, so I think that my current maintenance calories, based on what I know I'm going to be doing activity-wise and based on what I think I can maintain, is probably somewhere around 1450. So let's start there. Let's just see. And if I lose too much weight on these calories based on me going back to what activity I know, the coach is gonna go within that first 7 days, yo, they're really low. And it's going to adjust my calories for me anyway. So you don't have to fret over, you know, the minutiae here. Just pick a number, follow it, stick to it. And you can obviously choose the coach's recommendations as well, but I also know that I'm doing a lot of changes based on what I was doing previously. So just pick a number, and if it doesn't work for you within the first 7 days, or you lost way too much, or you gained a little bit more than you were planning on, the coach will recognize that and it adjusts those macros based on your individual changes. Okay, how much weight are you okay with regaining? So it's saying 0.2 kilograms per week, but you can see here on the screen we have a bit of a sliding scale. So you can go anywhere along that is recommended. So I'm going to go a bit more conservative. I'd like to actually do a solid reverse. This is the first year where I have made the commitment to myself to prioritize my reverse. In previous years, I've just stacked everything back on my schedule like overload, and I haven't really been able to give it my best effort. So I'm going to do that this year. So 0.1 is kind of what I would like to do. And it says here, do you want the initial calorie boost? Opt for 10% to 20%. No thanks. I'm actually feeling great, as you can tell. So if I had have had some of the symptoms though that I previously have had in past competitions, extreme lethargy, extreme fatigue, my performance had tanked in the gym, my motivation was zero, I was sleeping like an asshole, I was eating like an asshole because of all the extreme binging, and I just wasn't in a good place. I feel fine comparatively. I don't feel great. I definitely know I will feel better in a couple of weeks' time, but I don't feel like I need that little bit extra at this point. But some people, and in the past, I would have taken that 10 or 20% because I was a lot leaner as well. So create new goal. I really hope these are gonna work for me. So it's shown my calorie targets here as 1449. I kind of picked that myself, but we can go in and adjust the macros now. So you can see on the screen, it gives you that range of protein. There is no one hard specific number for you as an individual that you have to always do. It's a range for a reason. And you can have optimal results if you are applying yourself in the resistance training space anywhere on that protein range. So it's given me just automated at 2.12 kilograms per kilogram lean body mass. But I'm gonna take it up to something that I feel is more reasonable. So I might just put it at, let's say 130. I like meat, what can I say? So when it comes to carbs and fats, again, I can choose whatever ratio I want here. So I naturally gravitate towards low fat options. Any kind of meats, usually it's a lean cut, and I don't really add any additional fats to my meals. I'm not somebody that cooks with oil. Honestly, I just use a spray oil. I don't really, fry anything or, go overboard like with a pour oil. I just haven't done that. And then I always opt for like fat-free Greek yogurt, and I flavor it with other things. So I'm going to keep my fats on the lower end. I'll probably do 41. I've only moved it by a very small amount. It's 41 fat and 139 carb. And I hope that I can maintain my weight this week with the activity that I plan to do, and then next week I'll get a little boost. So the coach will do all this for you. It's fantastic. So we'll hit save, and let's go. Heck yeah. I'm excited. I really hope that I can hit these targets this week, because we're a couple of days in already. And I've already eaten, as I said, all of Lane's cookies. He's done a phenomenal job at supporting me when I came home. He just had all the choc chips just sitting out ready for me, had all these M&M cookies, and he had like 7 varieties of ice cream. Can you believe it? 7. I'm sure he just got those for me. So it's been a great experience in my fatigue and stressed state, eating all of his ice cream. But anyway, I digress. That is all from me this week, guys. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn a little bit more about reverse dieting, believe it or not, I actually have a book about that. I'll pop that up on the screen for you so that you can see what it looks like, and that is available from our BioLane store. Along with all of our other educational books, I've got recipe books in there and other merchandise gear, all the fun stuff, and you can see those links in the description below. And of course, hit me up a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I hope that you found this video entertaining, because I had a lot of fun filming it in my delirium state. But anyway, stay tuned. I've got some more interesting topics coming up for you. I've also promised to do a singing video here very soon. That is like the shadow self. Will come to light, so stay tuned for all those videos. And if you want more education, go and scroll through my YouTube. I've got different categories. There's exercise, there's nutrition, there's education. There's hours of content that you can watch if you're somebody that needs something to entertain your brain while you're doing your cardio. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, share it with anybody that you think might find it interesting, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.